I was fortunate to speak with Augustin Leung, who is the Vice President of Advanced Driver Assistance Systems for CUB products. CUB makes this product called the RV blind spot detection system. And, a lot of us have blind spot detection systems on our manufactured vehicle, our cars or our trucks. Most of them come with blind spot detection systems now. And I think they're one of the best safety additions that has come to the automotive industry in many, many years, because that warning when you're about to hit somebody in your blind spot is just so beneficial. It also keeps you from looking over your shoulder as much. If you know somebody's there, there's no reason to look back, right? So I think that's a fantastic safety feature, but they haven't really been available for those of us who have RVs until now. CUB makes a product that you can add to your RV that adds blind spot detection for either motorhomes or trucks pulling a trailer. So without any further ado, here's my interview with Augustin Leung of CUB Products. Augustin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great being on your show.
Let's start by talking about you and how you ended up working on this product for CUB and what your sort of experience is as an RVer.
Sure, sounds good. So my first experience in the RV industry, I was thrown into it in 2006. At the time, I worked for a radio manufacturer, and first trip to Elkhart, and boy, was it eye-opening. At that point, I've been to RV shows, but not ever actually gone into an RV or camped. At that time, I was shown manufacturing facilities, and I saw how RVs got put together and all the various components. I found it to be very fascinating. It was awesome that we were actually building things in America. And then from then on, my career just has kept me within the recreational vehicle business, either with, travel trailers, fifth wheel, tow haulers, or even marine products. So it's been a good ride. It's all fun stuff. So it's always good to come to work and have a good time.
So often the automotive industry, they're always adding new bells and whistles to vehicles. And every now and then there's something that comes along that is, I think, so good that, it starts to become standard. And most new cars now are coming with blind spot warning systems. Unfortunately, that's not always available stock on an RV, but I think they're so effective at adding that additional safety element. If we could start by talking about what the safety benefits of having a blind spot warning system are.
Sure, absolutely. So on a car, blind spot warning or blind spot monitoring or blind spot detection, these are all the same, they end up being the same thing, but different manufacturers have different names for them. The benefit for that is during driving, a lot of times we're looking forward and we're making lane changes, trying to use our mirrors and not turning our heads. Or we end up merging into the same lane that another driver tries to get into at the same time. Which usually results in either a horn blow or maybe some exchange gestures, or worst case, we get in an accident. The same thing happens in RVs. We make lane changes when we're towing or driving a motorhome. And the difference is in a car, if you swerve back, your reaction is pretty quick and usually no harm, no foul. But in an RV, you're dealing with a lot more weight. You're dealing with weight that's centered pretty high up compared to a passenger vehicle. So the opportunity to have a sway incident or not having enough time to correct or overcorrecting and ending up with an even more disastrous accident is much higher in an RV.
Yeah, starting a sway, boy, that is pulling a trailer. That is one of the scariest things that can happen when you see your home behind you wagging its tail. So that makes a lot of sense that it is even more crucial. Now, if you have a truck like we do and say it has blind spot detection, that doesn't really help you as much if you're towing a trailer because it's not detecting the vehicle next to the trailer, right?
Right. On some of the newer trucks, they do have additional features. Dodge and also Ford have the capability where you can set that you have a trailer in tow, and they can extend the coverage area to cover the trailer. However, because we're RVers, typically most of our trailers are wide chassis or we're towing something that's going to be in excess of the width of the truck. And one of the requirements for that feature on the trucks to work is that your trailer needs to be narrower or the same width of your of your truck because they load these sensors into the taillight assemblies.
Gotcha.
So if the radar can't see around the RV, then it can't see the traffic. So that is just a physical limitation. In addition, with larger trailers, typically the features on the trucks when they can extend that distance, it's for smaller trailers. Usually about 30 feet is about max. As you get into fifth wheel or you get into even just longer bumper tow trailers, typically your trailer length will be in excess of what is allowed. It's a great feature, good for maybe things like utility trailers or some jet skis or maybe a small boat, but not ideal for RVing.
I know a lot of your Class C RVs that are built on a van shell where they've torn it down. They have to remove the blind spot detection system that might come on a Sprinter van already. So we're here to talk about your product, the CUB blind spot detection system, that is an aftermarket product that we can add on to our RVs. How does that work?
So on a motorhome, whether it be a Class A, a Class B, or Class C, they mount up the rear sides of the units, and they bolt onto any flat surface. Most of our motorhomes are pretty flat back there. And then they connect to the OBD2 port where we get information about how fast the vehicle is going. We also get power from that port as well. There's a few other connections such as your turn signals and your ignition power. And from that point on, it basically operates as if it was factory installed, like if you got a brand new Sprinter van, like a Class B that was equipped with it already. But as you mentioned on the Class C, they cut that away, so they don't get that feature. And seldomly do Class A's come with that feature as well, since it's a body built on a truck chassis.
So talk to me about what you actually get with this system and how is it installed? Is this something that anybody can install their own, or is this something that you want to have done by a dealer? How does it work?
So the system is what we would call a moderate level DIY. That means that you need to have experience in connecting electrical components in your vehicle or trailer. It means that you need to drill holes. You're going to need to run some wiring inside and under the coach. So if you're handy and you can install things like a brake controller, or you can install auxiliary lighting, or more appliance type of products on your RV, then this is something you could probably tackle yourself. If you are more the type where you prefer that if even you pull into a campsite and somebody could do the connections for you, this may not be the ideal product for you to try to install yourself. Dealerships are more than capable of installing these products. Also, stereo shops are very well equipped to do it as well, because they work on electrical systems every day and they're good at hiding wires, installing into various surfaces, and making the installation look real nice. The system comes with a few basic components. The radars are mounted at the rear corners of the RV, so there's a pair of those, one for each side. There are also a pair of indicators that go inside the motorhome. They go on the A-pillars, so that's the section between your side windows and your front window. These indicators light up and blink at you depending on what's going on around your vehicle. There's also a power button to turn off the system if you so desire. There's a buzzer so you can hear the beeping, and the system will warn you in a lane change if there's somebody in your blind spot. And there's some wiring and a controller to manage all the signals that are going back and forth. What
do you think the sort of length of time the install would take? Say somebody knows their way around wiring and all that. What do you think is this a day job, a half day sort of thing?
In my experience, so I've put in quite a few of these, and I think my fastest motorhome so far has been about an hour and 45 minutes. More challenging units, I think I've spent up to 5 hours on a Class A. So it really just depends on how many compartments there are on the coach, how the wiring is run, if there are conduits available, and also how challenging it is to mount to the radar itself, depending on what's in that back corner. Should it be an open compartment, which is relatively easy, or is it all contained inside a wall where there's a shower in the corner, or there's a lot of different things that could happen on a motorhome.
Is there any type of motorhomes and trailers that this doesn't really work for?
So right now, the system is intended for motorhomes and tow vehicles that are equipped with an OBD2 connector. So if you have a diesel pusher, those vehicles are not equipped with an OBD2 connector. We're working on that solution right now. Those use a connection called a J1939 Type 2. It's a round plug for diagnostics compared to what you find in your passenger vehicles, which is a rectangular shaped plug.
And if you have something else that's constantly plugged in your OB2, there's no pass through, or can you use it with something else as well?
You can use a Y adapter. So Y adapters are commercially available. You can pick them up on Amazon. You can probably pick them up at some auto supply stores. And the OBD2 connector, depending on what else is plugged into it, can usually support 2 to 3 accessories.
Cool. So if you've got like one of those things that sends your insurance company your information about how good of a driver you are, you'd still be able to use it.
Yes, you can use that, or your hotspots are also very popular plugins to the OBD2 plug.
What are we talking about in terms of cost?
So the system retails for $9.99. Installation depends on where you are. In Los Angeles, it's a little bit more expensive for the hourly rates. Somewhere in Middle America, it's a little bit more affordable. But we find that the installation rates go anywhere between $200 to $600, just depending on what type of vehicle you have and the shop that you go to and what type of other services they provide.
Well, I think it's a fantastic to have an aftermarket option like this, and I think it's absolutely essential for people with big rigs to have safety features like this that really help them keep everybody safe and keep their really expensive rig protected. So I think it's a fantastic product. What else is coming down the line for CUB? Are you guys working on other products?
We're integrating this technology into new coaches, whether it be a motorhome or a trailer, where they're being factory equipped with this technology. So it seems that we're moving in the right direction, just as the automotive industry saw that it was becoming more popular and people really demanded it. J.D. Power and Associates ranked blind spot detection as one of the highest desired features on a new vehicle. The motorhome manufacturers are also not unaware of this. They know that if people want it on their passenger cars, they will want it on their RVs as well. We see this with a lot of technology. We see this in the entertainment options that are available. We see this in navigation. We see this with anti-lock brakes, tire pressure monitoring, all these things that people desire in their daily vehicles because they're used to the technology are all migrating into the RV industry as well. When we go RVing, we expect to have a nice, luxurious, we're glamping. We're not out to rough it. So having all this technology is something that is quite expected these days.
If somebody wants to learn more about CUB or the CUB RV blind spot detection system, where do they go?
They can go onto our website. It's rvblindspot.com. We're open 24 hours a day there. We also have a Facebook page, CUB Group. We're available on there to chat as well. They can drop us messages on any of our posts and also share any of our posts as well.
Augustin Leung, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.